Alright, this is the Aprilaire 700 model. This is the automatic with manual. And I'm going to install this today. This is the furnace location. And I've marked out the template for the opening for the humidifier here. I don't know if I called it a humidor, but it's a humidifier. Anyhow, this is the template that they give you. This comes in the box. I laid it up here, drew out my template, and I'll cut that plenum open. Now this one can be mounted on the supply or the return side. This happens to be the supply side. This is a carrier unit. And the control unit, you can mount it upstairs, it's electronic, or you can mount it in the return. So I'm going to mount this one in the return. It's just a little simpler than feeding the wires up to the second floor. We're in the basement. Okay, I'll come back to this. So now we have the hole cut open for the actual humidifier. This is the piece that came out. I used a jigsaw with the metal blade on it. To the proper size. Now I'll get the humidifier set up and we'll see how that goes in. Alright, the unit is now mounted. It's in the ductwork. I'll show you how I did that in just a second. On the 700, the fan motor, there's a built-in fan in there. Comes with the power supply. Some guys cut this off and just hardwire it. I actually have an outlet right here, so I plan on putting it there. It's switched to the furnace, so that's kind of convenient. But anyhow, let me take this off. Pardon the shakiness here, and I'll show you. Oops, what I did here. It's hard to do one-handed. Okay, I already have the filter off. Here's the filter. I'll show you how this goes in. There's the unit. I drilled some holes and put some screw mounts in there. It appeared that the locations where they had the pre-drilled holes are too short. They have you cut the ductwork out and it doesn't reach. So I put these in here. Anyhow, the filter has this notch on the top. This is the top. This is the bottom. That's the drain. That's the overflow drain, which needs to go right down in there. Okay. And then I'll have a hose that runs from here to the small pump that discharges to the sump pump. Anyhow, that's towards the end. I'll come back to that. Let's see how the filter goes in. I kind of sneak it up on the top. Right up there, kind of locks in with some plastic tabs, and then just make sure that this is lined up. It's hard to see, but there is a little tab there that I showed you that lines up with this tab, this nipple, and then that's in. And then the cover, you hang the cover up here on the top, and it kind of folds down and it locks into these clips right here. I'll show you the tab is right here for that. This is upside down, so that clips into there. And there's the fan motor. And we'll get to the next step. What I do want to add is, after everything's running and tested, what I'll do is take metal foil tape, and I think I'll tape up all these seams around here, because this looks like a place for air to escape. So all these corners, I want to put some foil tape on, not duct tape. Duct tape, what will happen over time is the adhesive will get weak and it'll separate and it won't seal properly. So you want to use foil tape. Self-adhesive, it goes on just like regular tape. It's just made of a kind of a metallic type of product. So I'll put that right along in the corners. on all 4 sides. And that's that. Get to the next step. Alright, this is the humidistat that's supplied with the 700 model. It's electronic, gives you a digital readout. You've got a sensor that goes outside that needs to be connected to measure the temperature and outdoor humidity. So this thing kind of calculates that stuff. And what this needs to do is be mounted to the supply side. I'm sorry, the return. This needs to be mounted to the return side. That's the unit in there. That's where the connections will take place. They're coded there with letters. And this is going to get mounted over here. This is the supply on that side, and this is the return. Okay, because you can see the air filters down there. And there's the air filter, there's the unit. Okay, so the return is right here. And I'm going to mount this somewhere along here. Now there's a 3/4 inch hole that needs to be cut for the sensor, because this actually detects the humidity. So right there, that circle thing is a piece of foam, a seal, a gasket. Drill a 3/4 inch hole right in here, and then this will be mounted with 2 screws. Let me pop that open. And this will be like this. There'll be a hole right there for a mount. And then there's one right over here on this side. So we'll put that in here and get to the next step. As you see now, the hole is drilled. It's a 3/4 inch hole. Just took a spade bit and drilled that out. I'm going to put that piece into that hole. Just like that. Okay, and then the 2 screws will go in to mount it, which I showed earlier. And that step will be done. So let me mount that and we'll move on to the next one.